Hello and welcome to On the Air with myself, Ian.
I'm Mike.
We are FDT-TV and we are very excited to bring you season 2 of our podcast. There has been many changes over the last season and a little bit, I suppose, from where we very first started, but we are getting there. So this is episode 2. Episode 1 was all about the rule changes, and that was 2 weeks ago now. We had a little break to prepare ourselves for the new season, because we are both very, very excited. Friday, 4 days to go.
Yep.
4 days to go, and we've got football back. And
Yes.
I know a lot of people will be moaning that, well, you didn't have a break of football this year because you had the Euros. But it's not the same, is it? It's not the same. If we'd won it, then it would have been all right. Then I would have gone, okay, we should have had a break. But right, Mike.
Yes.
Some big news this week. Big news in the world of football. We've got a new British record signing. Jack Grealish. £100 million from Aston Villa.
Yes.
To Manchester City. Do you think he's worth 100 million squids?
No. But then
short and sweet.
In all seriousness, I don't think any player's worth that amount of money. It's a ludicrous amount of money, but there's no denying he's got talent. But does he warrant that price tag? I know he's obviously captain Aston Villa back into the Premier League. They had a fairly good season last year, or a better season than they did the season before. But just for me, I think we've seen it possibly quite a lot over the last couple of years. Is that there's a premium for English players. Don't get me wrong. I think he's outstanding. I think when he plays, he's got trickery. He's got a great football in mind for someone. Let's be honest, that is fairly young. Not like us old fogey. Well, certainly me. I'm an old fogey now, mate.
So speak for yourself. I might look like I'm about 45, but I'm not.
But no, he's quality, and I did see him come on for the Community Shield game for Manchester City against Leicester, and he got a good kind of solid run out for, I think it was about 20-25 minutes. So yeah, good luck to him. Good luck to him. I think Man City are definitely a team to watch again this year. But £100 million, crazy money for any player.
I think he agreed that with obviously Aston Villa, didn't he, as a buyout clause. They were happy if he was going to leave. It was going to be for big money. They've reinvested it seemingly very well again. So that, I think they're a bit of a team to watch this year again. I'd be excited to see them. I know they're going to have to change how they play and not be so dependent on Jack Grealish, because obviously he's not there. But
I think one of the things that I really liked about that whole transfer was the Aston Villa chairman coming out and explaining as to why they've made that decision, why they've let him go. I think so. Clarity and transparency. Other clubs should make note of that, because that is, whilst a lot of the Aston Villa fans are going to be disappointed that obviously they've lost their prize asset, their talisman. The explanation given behind that and the logic behind the transfers, obviously they mentioned about him signing a contract extension with the buyout clause, as you just mentioned. They had offers for Jack Grealish, but nowhere near the buyout clause. Manchester City come along and offered that amount. And I think for them to be able to explain that, I think it's absolutely brilliant. And like I said, I think other clubs should take note of that.
And they did try and keep him as well, didn't they? They offered him more money than what Manchester City were, but he said he wanted to go away to win things, which he could have done within 3 days of being there, but that didn't quite go to plan. But we'll get onto that a little bit in a little bit. I do hope he goes the way of Raheem Sterling under Guardiola and gets better, rather than the likes of Jack Rodwell and Scott Sinclair when they went to City and just wasted their careers. I do think City have developed since then and come a long way in terms of what they're doing as a club. But yeah, if he can improve the amount that Raheem Sterling has improved since he joined, then he's going to be one hell of a player in 2 years' time. He already is. The other big news, it's not from the Premier League, but it has sort of shocked the footballing world. Lionel Messi, he agreed to take a 50% pay cut at Barcelona. Obviously, Barcelona are in financial trouble, so they went to get it all signed, sealed, and delivered. Both parties agreed to it. They went to submit it to the Spanish FA, who then said, "Oh, no, that still puts you over your limits. You can't register that as a new contract." At which point he's had to leave, and it looks like he's going to be going to Paris Saint-Germain.
Yep.
What do you make of that?
It's crazy. I actually read something earlier about the potential that Barcelona's 4 new signings may not be able to be registered this year because they need to find something stupid like 130 million on wages and something else in order for them to register the new players. Obviously, he compounded with the fact that Sergio Aguero apparently has picked up an ankle injury or has picked up an injury. Is going to be out for the next 10 weeks anyway, so that's potentially not a bad thing. But yeah, it's crazy. Leo Messi, we thought that was going to be him until he retires, but I think it'll be good for him in terms of getting that other experience. I think the logic behind going to Paris Saint-Germain, I think, is that they're pretty much guaranteed to win you a title.
Well, they didn't last year, did they?
Well, on the most part, they're guaranteed to win you a title, and you never know. I mean, I think the Champions League is a trophy they've been chasing, like Manchester City, for a good couple of years now, and they've always seemed to have fallen short.
Yep.
Could that one player make the difference? It remains to be seen, but obviously he's got to sign the contract. I know one has been offered for a 2-year deal for him. Let's be honest, the wages are still going to be astronomical for him. But obviously you get a serial winner, one of the best players we've seen to grace the football pitches, certainly in our lifetime.
Yeah.
Some would argue that it's ever, but yeah, crazy. I genuinely thought I was shocked when I heard the news that he wasn't going to be signing. Did you see his press conference?
I see that he was crying about it.
Yeah. Yeah, he actually come out and said, like, what from the translation, it's like, yeah, I'll hold my hands up. Last year I wanted to leave the club, but this year I didn't want to leave. So it's kind of he's been pushed rather than jumping, which I think is always going to be difficult because you kind of want to leave on your terms.
Yes.
But yeah, crazy.
And we're back in the room. No one even knew that was happening. Yeah, the thing I thought was interesting about it is Aguero did join Barcelona to play with Messi, and now Messi's not there. You think, is this injury real, or is he just like, I don't know. I do think Barcelona were struggling a little bit though last year. And some of that I think comes on the dependence of Messi. So rather than playing as a team, everything goes through Messi. So I think we could see sort of a resurgence of Barcelona playing as a team and going forward. But Paris Saint-Germain could be having one of the best transfer windows ever. And I mean, they've spent some money on Hakimi and things like that. But you think Sergio Ramos on a free transfer, Lionel Messi on a free transfer, Wijnaldum on a free transfer, and Donnarumma on a free transfer. It's going to take some beating. And all to the French league where, well, let's put it how some people put it, a farmers' league. The bloke who's got a part-time job that plays for lowly 19th place whoever. I don't know. I don't know the French league, bottom of the French league. I'm sorry, I just don't. But when they come up against that team, that's going to be just mad. If they don't, I mean, they should have won the league last year. And that was sort of some people saying Pochettino just can't win anything. If they get all those players and still don't win it, then he needs to never be a manager of a football club again. He might be entertaining football, but he obviously ain't very good at it, is he?
Well, with the team that he's now got, that's basically there to win pretty much everything, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's be honest. It's a quick fix. You've got world-class players within that team.
Yeah.
The likes of Mbappe, Neymar, obviously Messi if he does sign. it's gonna be a crazy team. It's like a super group. You get like the best bandmates from all over, and they're now combined into one team. And to be honest, mate, if they don't win the Champions League next year, at least then Poch needs to go.
I think anything less than winning every competition they're in would be a bit of a joke, really. But that being said, we could see, or it looks like we're going to see, quite a phenomenal striker back in the Premier League. Romelu Lukaku left Chelsea for Manchester United, and then left Manchester United for Inter Milan. And Inter Milan said, well, you've got some gastroenteritis type problem with your digestive system. Let's sort that. He's dropped loads of weight. He looks fit. He looks sharp. He won the league last year. He's banging in goals for fun. And now he's going back to Chelsea with a point to prove. I think that makes them dangerous. They were difficult to beat last year, and they just couldn't put their chances away with Timo Werner. Lukaku plays in the form that he was at Inter Milan. They've got to be up there. They've got to be up there this year. I'm not looking forward to playing them. I'll tell you that much.
What we've got them, I think it's like the second game of the season.
Well, hopefully,
or second Premier League game of the season.
Well, hopefully,
so that's going to be.
Yeah, I was going to say, hopefully he won't have signed by then. You might get a game without him, because he's a bit of a bummer on your team, especially when he played for Everton, wasn't he? Liked to goal against you. But
I'm not looking forward to that.
Not the only big signing we've seen, or potentially seen. Arsenal themselves have done something that doesn't happen very often, especially not without like 4 hours to go in the transfer window. You've signed a player, mate.
Yes, we have. Mr. Benjamin White, or Ben White, from Brighton. It's a position that we were kind of crying out for last year with the instabilities that we had. Obviously, David Luiz has now left the club. Who else? We've got Mustafi's gone, thank God. Kolasinac looks like he's on the way out. We do have Pablo Mari. We've got Gabriel, who obviously signed last season. Callum Chambers can play in that position and also cover at right back. And we've also got Rob Holding as well.
Yep.
I wouldn't necessarily say that they are outstanding defenders. And to be honest, I'll be completely honest. I don't really know a lot about Ben White. But obviously, he's another player that's come with a premium. Got a call up, or first season in the Premier League last year with Brighton. Called up to the England squad for the Euro 2020. And from what I've seen of him in pre-season, he looks good. But does he only look good because the rest of the defence is crap? I'd say that in jest, because I mean, I think I read, or I think I saw something the other day, that we had the third best defence in the league last year, which kind of shocked me a little bit. I think Chelsea and Man City only beat us in those stats, but where we have lacked is goals. And to be honest, I haven't really seen it in the way of much recruitment for the potential goal threat coming this season.
Yep.
Looking at in fact, I'll come back on to that in a minute. Ben White, yes, he does look good. He does look good from what I've seen of him in pre-season. Obviously not the only defensive recruitment. We did get Nuno Tavares, which we mentioned a couple of weeks ago, to cover in at left back.
Yep.
Which I think is going to be pretty clear that Kolasinac, his contract is either going to be terminated or he's going to be sold. My money is that his contract will be terminated, and then that's like 110 grand a week off the wage bill. So we have signed some defenders.
Yeah,
crazy.
So obviously Brighton didn't want to let go of Ben White, which is why he cost you 50 million quid. With that price tag, does he have to walk into the first team and hit the ground running?
100%, 100%, and providing he's fit, I think he will. The questions that we do have, obviously, is Pablo Mari has looked a little bit ropey in pre-season. From what I'd seen of him towards the back end of last season, when he was fit, he did look fairly solid. So I'm not sure if it was just a kind of getting through the pre-season, kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? A kind of like just looking at these games as a friendly, and all you're going to be working on is your fitness. But we do have Gabriel, and providing that Gabriel comes, or when he comes back from injury because he picked up an injury out in the Olympics, so he's going to be out for a few weeks. But providing that there's good communication there, I think we should touch wood do all right. But yes, he does walk in because I think he's miles better than what we've already got. And from what I've seen,
yeah. And have you got any other signings of note? I would say.
What, as in potential incomings or
potential incomings, or ones that have been confirmed, or ones that look rumored to be close to being done?
Okay, so we've got Sambi Lukonga joined us from Anderlecht. He was the Anderlecht captain last year. From what I've seen of him during pre-season, he looks really good. And he slots in nicely into the midfield.
Lovely.
But one of the positions that I think that we are still kind of recruiting for is kind of that creative midfield player. Obviously, Emil Smith-Rowe's recently signed a new contract for the club, got the number 10 shirt, so it's a big responsibility on his shoulders. But I still think we need some recruitment, so we're looking for, as I said, another creative midfielder. James Maddison is our player that we've been linked with. From what I understand, the negotiators are in with Leicester City.
Yeah.
We have tried, or we have already proposed player plus cash, but apparently they're just looking for the money, and rightly so. Again, it's another English player, quite young, outstanding at set pieces, has got a good footballing brain as well. Personally, I know it's difficult, but I think we should just go in and give them what they want for the player. And another position we're looking at, another two positions we're looking at is striker. So we've been linked with Tammy Abraham, a guy called Martinez, I think, from Inter Milan.
Yeah.
And then the other place that we're looking to recruit is in the goalkeeper backup with Aaron Ramsdale from Sheffield, I believe.
The relegator.
But yeah, he's apparently they're apparently asking for around 30 million for him. We've had 2 bids rejected for him already, but yeah, apparently I think we're going to be going in for a bid. But looking at Alex Runnison from last season, he looks ropey as fuck. And we've also got Arthur Okonkwo, I think, has come up from the academy, 18 years old. Has appeared a couple of times in pre-season. First game, bless him, just didn't know how to deal with the back pass from Cedric, and ended up gifting it to Celtic, and Celtic scored. So, yeah, not one that needs work.
Now, did you beat Celtic?
No, we lost 2-1.
We smashed them, absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely smashed them. And you talk.
No, sorry, that was Hibs.
We
played Rangers.
You played Rangers, so you might have beaten Celtic. Who knows? Everyone seems to beat them last year. You talking about James Maddison? I think the only thing that's let him down in the last couple of seasons is his injury record. Yep. If he can stay fit, we've seen the first season that he come to Leicester. He's a baller, isn't he? Yep. And we got glimpses of it as he was coming round to get back to full fitness, and then he got injured again. Is that a worry if you're going to spend big money on him, that he's going to end up being just out injured for half a season?
Mate, that's the type of calibre of player that we've got, isn't it? That's what we're crying out for. Thomas Partey, I think he had 2 injuries in his whole career. Come to Arsenal, he had 6 injuries in the first 2 months. Yes, it does worry me, but I think it's just one of those things. I mean, Kieran Tierney, the boy can do no wrong at the moment. He's got a pretty poor injury record, but that comes down to him being 110% committed at all times, even during training. Apparently, there's been a couple of occasions that the coaches have had to tell him to kind of like tone it down a little bit. But
train hard, play hard.
Exactly. So it does worry me, but again, it wouldn't surprise me if we do sign. And he does get injured.
Fair enough.
One of those things.
Well, West Ham. Let's move on to West Ham. We've signed one of your, I say old boys. He's not. He's a very young boy. From Celtic. He come through the Arsenal academy. Oko Flex. Winger / striker. Did score against Celtic when we played them. Quite exciting to see that. It's sort of a backup, I suppose, to Antonio, but still one for the future. We got in Terry Neves from Reading, with some few fleeting appearances from what I could see. Again, one for the future. And Ekwa Alembi, again, one for the future. The fact that we're crying out for a striker kills me. We've still got not a recognised striker in the squad. Antonio's taken the number 9 shirt. Can he stay fit? Who knows? But the one place we have strengthened, and I bleated on about it a lot last year, that I didn't think our backup for goalkeepers was very good. We've gone and signed Areola from PSG on loan. We saw him at Fulham last year. He made more saves than Fabianski did. So that's good. I think he's going to push Fabianski all the way for the number 1 shirt. And we've got the option to buy at the end of the season. So I think this could be that transitional season where if Fabianski gets injured, Areola comes in and then doesn't drop the number 1 position, and then it transfers over the next year. But yeah, I do think Fabianski, that's his last knock-ins. We've been linked with all and sundry as well. Tammy Abraham, no, that's dead in the water. Jesse Lingard, no, that's dead in the water. Kurt Zuma, no, dead in the water. All 3 of those signings, I thought actually we could get them over the line. They're realistic signings. From what I read today, Tammy Abraham's pretty much said he wants to go to Atlanta, who West Ham beat in the Betway Cup 2-0. Quite convincingly. Why would you want to go there apart from money, I suppose? But the one that does look like it's going to go over the line for West Ham, Miljankovic from Fiorentina, the defender. He was linked with Manchester United 2 years ago, but it looks like we're going to pick him up for 12 million quid. Which, for us, I think, if he turns out to be half the player that everyone seems to think he is, I think that's a steal in current terms of money. £12 million, you can't really go wrong. I think when you look at it like that, is Jack Grealish going to be 10 times better than him? Probably not. So bargain bucket. I don't really know what else we need a striker. We've been linked with Origi from Liverpool, who look like they're trying to get rid of some players. We've been linked with Oxlade-Chamberlain on loan. Again, do I like him? Yes. Do I think we need him? Swings and roundabouts. Just because his injury record and the fact that he wants to play centre midfield. We've got that position sorted. For me, the one player who's going to be really up there for us, he's been scintillating in pre-season, is Benrahma. He's scored goals, he's set up goals, he's skillful. All those bits we were looking forward to last season and saw glimpses of, we're all coming out in pre-season. So hopefully it continues into the actual season. And he's brilliant for us. I think he could be a real asset, and dare I say it, he could be the new Payet for West Ham.
I see you jinxed him now, mate.
The reason that that means he's going to have one really good season. We're going to refuse to sell him, then he's going to refuse to play, and we're going to sell him for 12 pence. That's all that means.
That's the West Ham way.
But yeah, I can see if we play to his strengths and he gets a bit of confidence behind him, there's no reason why he can't tear up the Premier League. He's got the ability to do it. But yeah, nervous because there's not lot. I know we've got to the end of the month for the transfer window.
Yes. Yeah.
So you might get a few quick ones over the line at the end, but if we're not already going hammer and tongs to get an out-and-out striker, I mean, Origi, yes, he scored some crucial goals, didn't he, for Liverpool? But he's never been prolific. And granted, he's never had a real run in a team. Is he what you want? Is that the player you want leading your line? I don't think so. Not for me, anyway. But that moves us on. What do we want to do? What do we want to do next? Do we want to do the opening day fixtures, or do we want to do overall winners, losers, and sackings?
Right, so we'll do the season. Oh, sorry, we'll do the match, the upcoming matches predictions. So if you are new to the show, welcome. Firstly, please hit that like and subscribe button.
Yes.
we do run we have run for the last couple of seasons our predictions competition. If for people watching on YouTube, this is the wonderful trophy, the FDT-TV predictions trophy. I am the current holder, and in fact, I'm the only holder of this trophy. Can't win at FIFA for shit, but I can do my predictions. So yes, we talk about the games that are coming up week by week. We look at what our scores are going to be, and then we judge the results. Depending, if you get a correct result, you get a point. If you get the correct score, you get 3 points. So looking at the upcoming fixtures, I will start off because it's Brentford versus Arsenal. We play on the Friday night. I've got to be honest, I'm a little bit nervous about this game. Just from looking at our last few games at pre-season, we certainly against Chelsea and against Spurs yesterday. I'm hoping it's just one of those. It's a pre-season friendly, nothing is riding on it, and then we come out and absolutely obliterate the league this year. But I can't see it happening, to be honest. We're playing away. Everyone knows that we struggle away, and it's against a newly promoted side, so they're going to have a point to prove. They're going to have obviously their fans back into the stadiums, and I think it's going to be we concede fairly early-ish from a crappy set piece. That gives us a rocket up the backside, and then we go out and absolutely stunk it. So I'm going to go for a 3-1 to Arsenal.
3-1. Have you seen your pre-season?
Yes, mate, and I'm being optimistic.
So
this is going to set the tone nicely.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing. Last opening game was against Fulham, who were a newly promoted side, and you absolutely smashed them.
Yep.
Do I think you're going to do it again? No, I don't. And the reason I don't think you're going to do it again is Ivan Toney. Saw an interview with him the other day, and he reminds me very much of Zlatan in that sense of he's a big guy and he's confident in himself. They said to him, "How many goals do you think you are you going to aim to score this season? What do you think in your first Premier League season?" And he went, "Just loads of goals. I don't want to put a number on it because I'm going to score loads of them. So I don't own a number." And they said, "Well, where do you want to finish with Brentford?" And he went, "Well, I want to win it, don't I? I'm not here just to compete. I want to win the league." And he was dangerous last year in the Championship, top scorer. I think he's going to do you, and I think you're going to lose 2-0. I don't know if Mike's still there. Are you still there, Mike? We are just having a few technical difficulties. Bear with us for a slight moment, and you won't even realise. Oh, and we are back in the room. No more technical difficulties. Hopefully. I'm not going to promise anything. But we have got our predictions now for Brentford versus Arsenal. And that leaves us Newcastle versus West Ham, which is the same opening day fixture as last year. It's not good, is it? I mean, last year we did have that sort of on-field protest against the sale of Grady Diangana. The players weren't happy with it. Seems to be much happier camp this year, which is good. However, Newcastle did the double over us last year, which I'm not great. So, I mean, we've had a really good pre-season. We've not lost, and we've been quite convincing in the last few games. But Newcastle, depending on what way the wind's blowing, they can give anyone a game. I would take a win here, even if it's a hard-fought 1-0 victory. And that's what I'm going to go for. I'm going to go for a 1-0 away from home. Let's get some points in the bag and press on. Let's get a difficult one out of the way. It's never going to be an easy game.
Yeah, I'm actually interested to know at what point players have to sign this week in order to be eligible for the first fixture. Because I know, obviously, as I mentioned earlier, Joe Willock is potentially off to Newcastle. If they do manage to get him over the line, he scored 7 in 7 last year.
Yeah.
On his loan spell, absolutely outstanding. And I think they are trying to push the deal over the line in order for that first game. I think, to be honest, I think Newcastle are going to have a bit of a resurgence this year. I'm not going to say they're going to be like ripping up trees or anything, but I think they kind of need to give their fans a bit of a boost because they've been through a bit of a torrid time over the last couple of years with the takeover issues and all that sort of stuff, and they haven't really had much investment into the club in terms of big signings. I think, obviously, just going on the fact that you mentioned earlier, Newcastle did the double over West Ham. It is the opening day fixture. You are playing away, but if you continue your form that you had last season, and from looking at your pre-seasons as well, I think it's going to be a good game with goals, but I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw.
Ooh, 2-2 draw. In fairness, I'd take it. If you offered me a point now, I'd take it.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so are we going to give a bonus point for the outright winner?
Yes.
We did it last year and I did get it. You went differently just to try and mix things up. So in fairness, I will let you pick first.
I'm torn between the two clubs again, Manchester City and Chelsea.
Oh, well, at least we're both torn then.
Yeah. I'm... It's going to be a tough one because I think both teams are recruiting in the areas in which they need to recruit. I'm not necessarily saying that Manchester City are crying out for that kind of marquee player, because they have certainly got players that can play in those positions. I mean, I think Gundogan last year coming to his own in terms of scoring goals and creating goals, but they do have a plethora of that are players available in that position. But then again, Chelsea, their defensive record was pretty good last season. The only thing they really lacked was that killer instinct in terms of goals. Signing Lukaku back from Inter Milan, I think, is the right move for them. I don't really know how that's going to work out for Timo Werner, if that's going to be one that he is going to be applying pressure for Lukaku. But for me, if and when Lukaku, the deal is done, for me, walks into that first team straight away, without a shadow of a doubt. I will go. Who will I go for? I'm going to go for Chelsea this year to win the league.
Well, you're going to go for Chelsea. See, that's who I was going to go for. That is who I was going to go for. For very much the same thinking. I mean, City are starting the campaign for the first time in almost a decade without Aguero. They have got Jesus. Are they still going to go in for a striker? I think they've got it, haven't they? But they've spent 100 million quid on Grealish.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hard one. The other one who I think could come close, I mean, a lot of Liverpool fans will be going, what about us? I want to say it was a bit of a flash in the pan. They did come back a little bit last year. Van Dijk's back this year. Will he be the same player, though? That's the question. It's quite a serious injury.
Yep.
And the other one, United. They brought in Sancho. They brought in Varane. Pogba's looks like he's gonna stay, but again, lacking a real out and out centre forward. I think they're all certainly top four. I'm gonna go City. I'm gonna go City just for the fact of I still do think they could loop him for Harry Kane. Maybe not for the opening day fixture, but what banter that would be. He's at City, scores that trick in the opening day. I mean,
yes.
I think if they sign a decent striker, then they're potentially they're going to win. But yeah, the top four, as I said, no particular order. I think Chelsea will be a close second, then Manchester United, then Liverpool. So it was a particular order, but
no particular order, but a particular order.
Yeah, I mean, have you got anyone else you think could get in the top four?
I'm going to say this with every ounce of optimism.
No, don't say Arsenal. Don't do it.
I don't. I would love to finish. I'd love for us to finish in the top four, and I think that has got to be key for us for this season. We haven't got the any European competitions to worry about. Granted, we have got a couple of extra games in the domestic cups because of where we finished last year. But like I said, it's with every ounce of optimism that we do finish within the top 4 because we need it. We need to 100%.
In fairness, the way you've put that, I do think you could be in for something. And the reason I say that is because, as you said, you haven't got any European football. So even group stage, that's what, an extra 8 games.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of rest, isn't it? In terms of what you got last year, and you had the third best, was it? You said defensive record. Yep. Yeah. Well, providing you can get a goal scorer, then yeah, okay. I'll go with it. I'll roll with it. I thought he was going to say Leicester, and I thought, yes, no, possibly. I think they're the other team will be bounding around. I think certainly be top 6, but
yep.
So the other end, are we going to give a point for relegated teams?
Yeah, why not?
So for a maximum of 3 points, 1 point per team.
Yep. Norwich.
Yep. Norwich at bottom.
Brentford.
Oh, okay.
So Norwich, Brentford, and I am going to go for Watford.
Oh, so we're different by 1 team. Norwich will again be exciting and go and attack, but they've got rid of Buendia. Looks like Cantwell could be going, so I don't think they're going to have too much about them this year. Still be exciting. Still go at it regardless, but yeah, I think they're going down. Watford, I think, will sack 2 managers this year and be relegated, and Palace.
Okay.
But I've got... That depends. That really does depend. Palace are my wild card this year. Palace will either finish top 10 or finish bottom. I think that's 2 ways their season's going to go. And then
right. So sorry, who you've got? Norwich,
Watford, and Palace is who I've gone for to be relegated. Again, I don't want to put it in any particular order, but yeah, definitely those 3. And then in terms of the sack race, obviously someone is going to get sacked. What, more than one person, I'd imagine, will get sacked this year. Who's going to be first, though? I think there's a few contenders.
Yes, absolutely. Obviously, Vieira just taken over Crystal Palace.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big job. I know they finished, I want to say, kind of like mid-table, or they've finished mid-table for the last few seasons under Roy Hodgson. Vieira hasn't really had much in the way of elite managerial experience. Obviously, he was, I think he was the New York City manager for a while. So he's got some MLS experience. Obviously, a fantastic player during his time. But I think depending on how the first few fixtures go for him, I think he's potentially one that we could look out for. And I've got to be honest as well, I think Arteta, given the season that we had last year, we lost out on European football. If he makes it to the end of the season and we're not in top 4 and we haven't finished with a domestic trophy, to be honest, I can see him walking.
Okay.
In fact, walking in terms of being sacked, because last year, when he come in, it was kind of picking up the pieces from Unai Emery. There was a lot of trouble at the club, a lot of dead wood at the club. Last season, there was a lot of players that were removed from the club. and he got in a couple of signings. This year, he's got in more of his signings, being able to get his philosophy embedded into the player. So it's kind of a bit of a transitional period, like we saw with Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp. Granted, he had the luxury of winning the FA Cup in his first season and a Community Shield. So I think that got him some kind of good graces with the board this year.
Yeah.
However, I think the targets minimum need to be top 4 and a domestic trophy this year. And if we don't, or we miss out on either of those, potentially we could see him walk. Mm-hmm. I keep saying walk. I think he will get the boot. So for me, depending on how the first 10 fixtures go of the season,
yeah,
I reckon we will see Vieira sacked and Arteta potentially.
Fair enough. I do think you're correct. I mean, Vieira has got arguably the hardest job. It's an aging squad. Over half of them were out of contract. So I think, and this sounds bad, I think in some senses Roy Hodgson knew what he was doing, because he did a fairly good job at Palace, and he knew his contract was up. So actually, let's make it really hard. Let's make it look like I've done an even better job than I have, because no one can follow it. Zaha looks like he wants out, but does anyone want him? Don't think so. So that's not good, being their star player. So I think Vieira is definitely up there, certainly on the first few fixtures. Whoever the Watford manager is now, they have a bit of a circus, don't they, of managers going in and out. So I think he's up there. And the other one, Rafa Benitez. I think his head's got to be already on the chopping block. I mean, we've already heard the Everton fans singing for his head. We haven't even got into the pre-season. Or we haven't even finished pre-season yet. So I think, depending on how the first few results for Everton go, he could be out as well. Are we going to go for a point for the first one? You've got to put a name to it, and if you get it, you get a point.
Okay, I have gone Vieira as my first manager sacked.
Oh, see, this is the thing. Do I agree with you? Because I do think that I've actually put money on that. But Benitez is up there, and so's Watford. This is difficult. Just to be different, I'm going to go with the Watford manager. I don't even know who he is. But I think if they...
We will find that out and come back.
I think if they lose their first 5, which I think is plausible, then he's gone, isn't he? You can't...
Yep.
You don't get long at Watford, and actually needing to stay in the league, I think he's gone. As much as I want Vieira, I'm going for points this year, so I've got to be different. I'm going to have that trophy, and it's going to sit up there next to that one. I hope.
So just to confirm, we have got Manchester City is the overall winner for you.
Yes.
Norwich, Watford and Palace to be relegated.
Yes.
Watford manager Vieira and Rafa in the sack race.
Yep.
So for me, I've got the overall winner is Chelsea, Norwich, Brentford and Watford to be relegated. I need to come up with a third one, don't I?
I reckon for the sack race?
Yeah.
I reckon just put one name to it. I'll go with the Watford manager. Okay. You go with Vieira. He can take over at Arsenal after we've been sacked from Palace. We don't mind that. Now, one last thing to finish off. Where do you think Tottenham are going to finish?
For me, it all depends if Harry Kane goes. Obviously, there's this whole transfer. This coming late back to training. According to the media, he missed out on training. Going to be fined by the club. Harry Kane's issued a statement and said, "No, it was pre-agreed. I've got an extended holiday." For me, it does seem like he's trying to force his way out of the club. And rightly so. Obviously, he's another player, just talking about Jack Grealish earlier, who wants to go off and win trophies.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that he's going to do that at Spurs. But for me, obviously, Daniel Levy being the astute businessman that he is, he isn't going to let him go cheap, considering I think he's still got 3 years left on his contract.
Yeah.
It's going to take, I think, around about 115, 120 million pounds for them to prize Harry Kane out of Tottenham Hotspur. If Harry Kane goes, I think there's going to be top 8. So I think possibly they'll finish 8th in the league. If Harry Kane goes, if he stays with some of the recruitments that they've made, possibly 6th or 7th. I don't see them getting any higher than 7th. I'll be very surprised.
Do you know what? I'm going to make the bold statement and say I think they will do better without him. And the reason I say that is the way that Nuno plays. He's quite defensive, but he likes a quick counter-attack. And Harry Kane is not the fastest bloke, is he? He doesn't like running. We see that from the Euros. So actually, I think potentially if they chuck Lucas Moura up top, Son up top, or even get somebody in, they could do better. I don't think he's going to suit that style of play. I think we're going to.
Apparently Spurs have had. Sorry to interject. Apparently Spurs have had or are willing to pay. We were talking about that Martinez that we've been linked with.
Yeah.
From Inter. Apparently they've had, or they're willing to pay the £60 million in order for them to sign him.
And he's rapid.
I think with that sort of transfer rumor, I'm not saying it's a definite, but there's got to be some kind of smoke. There's no smoke without fire on that one. And I think potentially Harry Kane is on the way out and they're looking to reinvest that money already.
Yeah, I think you may be correct there. But yeah, I think they may be better off without him. And I think we're going to see the best of Steven Bergwijn this year. And I know lots of people will be going, you're wearing a West Ham kit and raving about we're going to see the best of a Tottenham player. But actually he's a quite exciting player. He was good before he joined them and just didn't suit the style of play, but he's very quick. So I think he could be the danger man for Tottenham this year. But yeah, I think 10th.
Okay.
I want to see him finish 18th. But I don't think that's going to happen. Unfortunately. Can't have everything. We can't have everything. No. Let us know in the comments section on the YouTube channel who you think is going to win. Obviously, the league, your relegation candidates, and who you think is going to get the sack first. But unless you've got anything else, Mike.
Nope, I'm all good.
Then we will wrap up today and see you after the first round of the Premier League has been played.
Come on, you Gunners.
Come on, you Gunners. Who are you on about? It's smallest club in London, mate. Right. I've been Ian.
I've been Mike.
Well, thank you for joining us, and we will see you next